Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, and welcome to Kahului Hongwanji's online YouTube Sunday service. Today is October 25th, 2020, and we are also observing today our Family Gratitude Remembrance, which is a time to remember our departed loved ones and friends who are having memorial services remembered during this month of October. Today's service is just a regular service, so we will begin with the Vandana and Tisarana and continue with the aspiration for the Family Gratitude service, and then we will have the chanting. Chanting today will be Gasho to Amida. Following that, we will recite the Golden Chain of Love, and then we will have the Dharma Message. Now today the Dharma Message is going to be pasted in, as it were, from the live in-person service that we held on this same day in the morning here in Kahului. We have gone back, we are trying to have our in-person service now with, of course, COVID restrictions, hopefully once a month. We'll see. We have to, of course, just see how COVID conditions go, but we're hoping to be able to do that. And so we'll continue with these pre-recorded YouTube services every week, and on the Sundays when we do have the in-person service, we will, edit in the Dharma message from that service. So in a way, we can sort of join the two things together. For that reason, on those Sundays, fourth Sundays, will be the in-person service when we have them. The YouTube video will be a little late because we'll have to wait till after the service so that we can edit it in and get it out there. So, following the Dharma message, we will chant the metta or loving kindness meditation, and then sing the Nembutsu, and then have a few closing words. So, thank you very much for being here and joining us one way or the other, either through YouTube, or if you're one of those who came to the Sunday service today, that's also, of course, that's wonderful too. The online, the in-person service. So it's one way or the other we can join together as we listen to the Dharma and express our appreciation for life. So let's begin our service now with our hands together in Gasho as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha Namanda, Namanda. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Today, Kahului Hongwanji Sangha has gathered together to remember our loved ones who have passed away, particularly those whose memorials are observed in this month of October. In appreciation of them, let us reflect deeply on the transience, the uncertainty, and the impermanence of our existence, so that we may all awaken to realize the true significance of living. May we live our lives as an expression of appreciation for the limitless kindness we constantly receive each and every moment, and let us seek to repay our debt of gratitude to all of our departed loved ones for the great benevolence that they have bestowed upon us. In deep awareness of the many blessings we constantly receive from others, let us repeat the name which is true reality itself, measureless light, boundless life. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I gasho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I gasho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I gasho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play, every day with Amida, every moment filled with light. I gasho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I gasho to Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I gasho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I gasho to Amida. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, welcome everybody. It's so great to see everybody here in person. That's really, it's almost like I've never seen it before. It's like a whole new experience, even though we did it last month. So, but it's nice to get back to this, and I hope we can more and more. We have to take all the precautions to be safe and to keep others safe, but we also have to live our lives and not make that cause us to worry or to panic or anything. We just need to, just kind of do what we have to do, wear the masks, be cautious, keep distance and everything like that, but we also have to, live. So, it's kind of a balancing act, right? But I think we're finding ways. Maybe this whole COVID thing is, it has a positive side in that it's teaching us to appreciate the little things in life that we took for granted before, so we can really, appreciate how much just normal things in life, how valuable they are, just getting together with friends for coffee or something like that. We haven't been able to do that for a long time, So when you realize that, I think it's a really good thing. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. So, I'm wired up here. This one's for the camera, clip-on for the camera. I shouldn't touch it. Good. And this one for you guys. So anyway, hopefully we can continue to do this every month unless conditions change and worsen, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So now, what are we observing next Saturday? Do you remember? What's coming up? We're Halloween, right? Don't you have your costume ready for trick or treat? Halloween is a time where in modern times it's more for children, but it's a time when you're allowed to be somebody, be something or someone other than yourself, and so children, get to dress up in costumes and pretend to be their favorite superheroes or cartoon characters, or nowadays it's popular with the girls to be princesses. It's all those Disney movies, they love that. And of course, as it used to be, every Halloween was about dressing up as ghosts and monsters, right? I don't think that's as popular as it used to be, but for children, this is it's naturally very fun to dress up, to pretend. It's fun for adults too, and often adults have work Halloween day, parties, or dress up in Halloween costumes at their jobs and things like that. And of course trick or treat, which kids really love, getting candy. What could be wrong? What could be wrong with that, right? But going from house to house, right? Knocking on the door, saying trick or treat, getting some treats, and then moving on. I don't know if it's going to be allowed this year. I don't think so. I'm not sure. And of course, it's not like it used to be. Parents can't allow their kids just to go out and trick or treat and go all around the neighborhoods, knocking on doors. Like when I was a kid, we could do that, but because of the dangers today. But nevertheless, it's a fun activity for children. But Halloween actually kind of has a serious background, history. It originally developed in Europe, and it may have come from ancient Celtic or ancient European, native European festival called something like So-an or So-in. The name meant summer's end, and it was a time to mark the end of the half-light of the year and the onset of the half-dark. So remember, last month we had Ohigan, which has to do with the equinox, when the day is half light and half dark, balance between the light and the dark. Interesting, right? In the Celts, they lived in a very cold northern climate, and the world was very dark during the winter, very harsh and frightening and cold. And so it's not surprising that they would celebrate a festival like this. They believed that at this time, the boundary between this world and the other world, right, the world of darkness, of spirits and so on, became very thin, and the spirits, the ghosts, the spirits of the ancestors and so on could pass back and forth between them. So one of the things they did at this time was to invite the spirits of their ancestors to come and join them in a festival so that they could honor them. And so what does that sound like? Similar to the kind of traditional beliefs about Obon. Of course, in Jodo Shinshu, we don't emphasize the idea of the spirits of the ancestors coming back, except maybe just in the sense that that we're aware of the benevolence and expressing gratitude. But nevertheless, that's a fundamental belief in Obon, that the spirits come back. And then after the Obon festival is over, then you escort the spirits back to the other world, right? That's what the lanterns and things like that are about. So very similar, actually. So at the same time, the people, the ancient Celts, they wore masks, right? Costumes. And they dressed up like ghosts and spirits and so on. So to fool the harmful spirits, because if you open the door between this world and the other world, and you let in the ancestors, right? The bad spirits might come in too, right? Right? The troublesome ones, the mischievous ones, the rascal spirits, right? So in order to fool them, you have to dress up yourself like a ghost or a spirit, so that the real ghosts will leave you alone, right? Because they only come to bother the living people, right? So that's the origin of the costumes at Halloween, yeah? Interesting, right? And so anyway, it's easy to understand why people, especially kids, like Halloween. It's fun to dress up, it's fun to watch, to hear scary stories and to watch scary movies, to pretend to be monsters, and it's fun to have parties and eat treats. And also, just as the Celts saw this time of year as the beginning of the dark half of the year, there's something in all of us that's interested in the dark side of ourself, right? The dark side of human being, human personality. And that's the side that's we normally keep well hidden from others. We don't show our inner monster. We keep it hidden and hopefully tamed. Helping us to do good things, not bad things. We're usually taught in our kind of dualistically thinking culture, actually, to separate the dark from the light, to think of things as either completely light or completely dark, completely good or completely bad. But Buddhism teaches us that this is a delusion. We fool ourselves if we pretend, oh, I'm good. I don't have any darkness in me. I don't have any selfishness or greed. We all have that. But it is again just like the light and the dark, Ohigan, the harmony of the length of the days and night, the harmony of nature. It is all about harmony. It's all about nurturing the whole person so that we can be good instead of suppressing or hiding one or the other. So when I was a kid, I really loved to watch the old monster movies, the ones from the 1930s, Frankenstein especially, and Dracula, with Bela Lugosi, and Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. Oh, I still love those movies. They're great. And I like them. I especially loved Frankenstein. Even though when I was little I got nightmares from it, but I still watched it. I still loved it. Most kids like the Frankenstein monster. I imagine nowadays parents are like, kind of shielding their kids and don't let them see things like that, but maybe it's better not to see some of the movies they make today, but those old ones really good, really had a lot to teach us, I think. And kids like Frankenstein's monster, actually, all this he's abandoned by his creator, Frankenstein, the monster, the creature. He actually is abandoned. People see him as a monster. He's abandoned by his creator because he's ugly, right? He's scary, and he goes and he's angry, right? So he goes on and he does all kinds of bad things. But all that the creature, the monster, wants is to be loved and acknowledged. Have a smile, acceptance from others. But because he doesn't look good, he looks different, he looks weird, he looks awful, right? And he doesn't have particularly good manners, So all he gets is fear and hostility and cruelty from others. And so he gets angry, and he expresses this anger at people around him that he meets. And so every kid who grew up with those movies, I think, understood quite naturally and instinctually where the monster's violent temper came from, right? They knew he was He was angry because no one, because he was just treated so badly. He didn't do anything. He just abandoned, and so all the angry villagers with their torches running around, who tried to kill the poor monster, try to kill him, are because he frightens them. They're afraid of him, right? But I think that what they really fear is the dark side of themselves. That's what the creature reminds them of, and they want to stamp it out. They want to get rid of it. We don't want anyone who reminds us of the unknown dark side of ourself. We want to get rid of them. So that's exactly, I think, what motivates otherwise perfectly kind and loving people, for example, to in this modern age, to hate, let's say, for Muslims in this country, or immigrants, to hate anyone who's not like them. Kids sense the injustice that the monster has been subjected to, just because he doesn't look or act like them. The children realize that the monster's bad behavior arises from the treatment he has received from others, from these causes and conditions. So there was a poem by one of my favorite poets, W.H. Auden, and this one line expresses this idea very well, about this bad behavior, evil, destructive and violent behavior arising from causes and conditions. And so he wrote, "I and the public know what all school children learn. Those to whom evil is done do evil in return." It's really simple. Every child understands that. People, if someone is treated badly, then they will act out badly. It's the most obvious thing in the world, and yet we forget it all the time. That's something that we need to remember, especially during these difficult times that we're living in now. A lot of people are doing a lot of not nice things, unkind, cruel things. But we can't forget that there are reasons and causes behind all the actions that are happening, everything that's happening today. Buddhism teaches us that we need to work to change the conditions, the underlying conditions that produce anger and despair. Many people today are accepting and embracing really, monstrous, you might say, ideas, intolerant and violent beliefs, because those beliefs offer them some kind of meaning and belonging. Why? Because they need that, because their lives have been shattered. They feel betrayed and abandoned by the society that they live in. There's always this cause because of conditions that have been brought about by people's actions, right? So being betrayal causes deep anger, which allows us to accept false ideas that make us feel good. Even though I'm such and such, I'm actually better than everybody else because, and they're the bad people. So, right, I can direct my anger toward those bad people, whoever they are. That's how it works. Buddhism taught this thousands of years ago, understood this. But so what happens is the angry monster inside arises and lashes out at others. But when a society is truly a community, right, a sangha, in which everyone is welcomed and valued, then nobody has to feel abandoned, and everyone can accept and be accepted and care about each other. And then I think the monster, the dark side, he doesn't go away, but he's there now helping us, giving us strength, conviction, right? That monster inside us, the Frankenstein monster inside us, is good, right? But when we're treated really badly, he might come out and become this monster. There's another story called the Golem that came from medieval Jewish tradition that is also another one that's about that very same thing. In fact, that might be sort of the ancestor of the Frankenstein story. But anyway, the Golem, Golem. There's a famous, the synagogue in Prague. There's supposedly the remains of the Golem is in the attic there. Yeah. So anyway, so it's very important to make sure everyone in our society is well cared for and valued, right? That will eliminate the problems. Up a little bit, okay. It's really hard to get just the right place so that it's not, yeah. So it's very important to make sure that everyone in society is well cared for and valued, right? Then that solves the problem, you know? If everyone feels cared for, everyone feels valued, that should be number one priority in any society, right? Before you do anything else, before you go anywhere else. But when we abandon people, ignore their needs, their humanity, their dignity, then we are all like Dr. Frankenstein, making monsters and then, you know, abandoning them, running away and hiding from them because we don't want to deal with them, right? So you see, we can even learn Buddhism from monster movies, 1930s monster movies, and books, right? And monster, and those, Frankenstein, of course, is originally a great novel, yeah. Halloween expresses something about ourselves that we can learn from. We all possess a dark side and a light side. What Shinran called the dark side is what Shinran called our blind passions, our bono, right? You know that term, our bono, right? Our attachments, our blind passions. There's a little bit of monster in all of us, and we learn from this dark side, from these attachments, that they need to be accepted and acknowledged too. That dark side inside of us needs to be acknowledged, accepted, not just hidden or run away from. Shinran emphasized over and over, and kept getting frustrated because people couldn't understand, that we are not saved, we do not awaken to Amida's vow because we are good, because of virtue on our part, but we awaken just as we are. That means good and bad together, light and dark together. You can't be saved if you're a good person, right? Well, you can, but there are no good people. A person who is saved is a person who is awakens as the whole self, right? Good and bad, it's all there, right? And even to try to measure or imagine my own goodness is an exercise in self-delusion. To be embraced by Amida is to accept myself as I am, filled with a dark, calculating, ungenerous mind, just as I can accept others, realizing they're not perfect, not just the same as me. Shin Buddhism is a way of self-acceptance, which is not to be confused with self-justification, of course. Accepting myself means to see my own life through Amida's eyes, the eyes of compassion and non-discrimination. It doesn't mean to try to rationalize my selfishness and prejudices as being right or good. To see ourselves without discrimination means to realize that our selfish mind, our self-centeredness, our inner Frankenstein monster is working all the time, even when we think we're being good. To acknowledge that. Excuse me. Actually, I wouldn't even be me without my inner monster, without that selfishness, right? It's part of me too, and it helps me to live. If I had no attachments, I wouldn't bother to keep living, right? I wouldn't care about food, anything, right? If you have to have attachments to live. So that inner blind passions are part of who we are, inseparable. Just like a mom and dad love their children regardless of the sometimes selfish or unlovable things they do, so the self-acceptance that the life of Nembutsu brings allows us to feel the love and embrace of Amida Buddha, like a loving parent, boundless compassion and wisdom always surrounding us just as we are, good and bad together. We receive life from countless sources every moment of every day, yet we have done nothing to earn that life. The love and compassion we call Amida never judges or condemns us, but it does change us. We become transformed by it, naturally, without any effort. Our inner darkness is shown to be one with the light. Unfortunately, today in our world, fear and anger are growing rapidly as conditions make wholesome and healthy community and love between people more difficult to sustain, more rare, you might say. And so the darkness inside us takes on this life of its own and becomes monsters of despair and rage. That's the reality we face today. Forget about which side is which. It doesn't matter. That's what we're facing, this breaking down of mutual support and respect and caring. So it's up to us to resist those conditions, to not despair. It's very important. We are being led, I think, by so many forces in our society, but we're being led towards submission and isolation and alienation from one another, I think, by all the technology and materialism that encourages only narcissistic self-interest. We're gleefully giving up our sacred freedom in exchange for meager trinkets, new devices, whatever. We all need to reclaim our dignity and help others to do this. We need to, as they say, reclaim our dignity and our purpose by insisting on our birthright as human beings, that we should all be able to live a life of shared community and resources, freedom, kindness toward all, acceptance, truth, and the spirit of nurturing love. Now, perhaps all those spirits who, according to the legends I told you about, visit this world at Halloween, perhaps they have come to teach us this truth. They come to remind us that life is more than appearance, more than the foolish and ignorant satisfactions of wealth, status, power, and success. Behind the veil of appearance lies the truth of impermanence. Each person's life, though brief, has a profound purpose and must not be wasted. Otherwise, we are all already ghosts. So thank you very much for listening to me today, and please join with me with hands together as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Namo
Well, thank you very much for joining us today for our online YouTube Kahului Hongwanji Sunday service. I hope you enjoyed the service and that there's something that you will be able to take away from it that will be meaningful and helpful to you in your life and during this, especially during this difficult time. We will, as I said, we will continue with our regular YouTube services every week, and on fourth Sundays we're going to try to have our in-person service if conditions permit. And in which case we will continue to take the recording of the Dharma message from the in-person service and put it in together with this YouTube service. So thank you very much for being here, and please keep watching at the end to see the announcements that are on the scrolling text at the end of the video. Okay, thank you very much, and please stay well and healthy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.